Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, we're going to take a look at the 2024 BMW X3 M40i and the all-new 2025 BMW X3 M50. I borrowed both of these from Hendrick BMW Charlotte. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. I also have full detailed reviews on both of these, so if you want to see them in greater details, take a look at those separate full detailed reviews. So let's start off today's review with the obvious here. Both of these are finished off in Brooklyn Gray Metallic, which is a very popular color. So really nice to be able to see the changes with them, but still retaining that same color. So for the 24-year model, these had a starting MSRP around $61,900. For the 25-year model, it increased to $64,100. Now, going back to the 24-year model for the powertrain, this has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. Paired to the mild hybrid system along with the 8-speed automatic, it pumps out 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. For the 25-year model, this has the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine along with the mild hybrid system and 8-speed automatic. However, this pumps out 393 horsepower, 428 pound-feet of torque. So it got a slight bump in both horsepower and torque. Both of these have the xDrive all-wheel drive system. There's a 100-pound difference with the M50 weighing in at 4,500 pounds, so slightly more. 0 to 60s are going to be about the same. Top speeds are the same. So we have 4.4 seconds, 155 miles an hour. And then the MPG is identical at 21 in the city and 26 on the highway with the same fuel tank. So let's work our way to the exterior styling now, where you'll notice the headlights have a big difference to them. So on the 24-year model, everything is LED, but there's the C-shaped design for the DRLs as well as the turn signals. For the 25-year model, we have a much different look there with that angle. So they are much thinner and much closer. You'll notice too that we do have a difference in the grills. We don't have the M Sport package for that M40 there, so it has chrome up front versus the gloss black. However, on this model, you have the option of going with that illuminating light that surrounds the entire grille. There's also the forward-facing camera, a sensor, and plenty of cutouts in that lower section. Versus on the 24-year model, you have all the vertical slats there with no obstructions. Forward-facing camera is right in the middle. Both of these have parking sensors up front with gloss black in the lower section and then the inlets on both sides as well. But you can see the 24-year model, I would say, is a little bit more classy. The 25-year model just has a bigger, more aggressive, more angular look to it versus the 24-year model. I do like this design a little bit more, especially for the front end. Now, as we work our way to the side, we have different wheel options, of course. You'll also be able to tell the red M Sport brakes versus blue M Sport brakes. So both of those are options on both of these. They lost the trim accent behind that front tire. And then for the power folding side mirrors, there's the camera and the turn signal, finished off in gloss black and identical on the 24-year model. Now here's a huge difference. This has an opening sunroof in the front section and then the full moon roof in the back, along with the gloss black roof racks. For the 25-year model, this is one solid piece of glass. It does not open. There's no opening sunroof in the front. It's one solid piece of glass, and then there's gloss black for the roof racks as well. And then as we take a step back, you will notice that they do have a similar look, but very more boxy, I'll say, for the 25-year model. It looks like a mini XM. For the 24-year model, we still have the traditional door handles, really nice lines that run down the side, very distinctive at the height of the door handle, versus on the 25-year model, a little bit more subtle. That line has been moved up to above the door handles there, and then we still have some lines in the lower side skirt. So they still have a similar look to them, but a little bit more boxy and squared off versus the 24-year model. Now, as we work our way to the back, you'll notice that the rear spoiler is much larger. We have a lot more gloss black. There's the third brake light along with the wiper blade there. Different design for the LED taillights. You get the backup camera, and then there's the quad tip dual exhaust with gloss black for the lower diffuser. And then to make our way to the cargo space, that button is located just above the license plate there. Where the back ends here are going to be fairly similar. You have quite a lot of space. You can lift up the floor where you could probably put a spare tire there or just use it for extra storage. We have the cover here. There's also a net, a hook, and a 12 volt. And then of course you can fold down the back seats for more storage. And then we have that power operating trunk lid that will close very quickly. Now as we work our way to the 24-year model, much shorter of a spoiler here. There's not as much gloss black, but you still have the wiper blade there, a dark housing for those taillights, backup camera, all the sensors. A little bit different of a design for the exhaust pipes there, but still retains gloss black for that diffuser. And then the release is up top. So the license plate has been moved versus being fixed in the lower section of the bumper. And then about the same amount of space. You don't have quite as much cargo on the side there, but you still have a 12 volt, you have a hook there. You can lift the floor up where you don't have a spare. You might be able to put one there, but it's definitely much differently shaped than the 25-year model. And then the back seats do fold down, of course, and we have the same controls that are located up top. Now, as we work our way to the interior, I'm sure you've been able to hear that this vehicle is beeping at me because we have the proximity key. So as I walk up to it, even place my hand under the front door handle, you can actually unlock the back door. So while there's no sensor on the door handle itself, you can still set that up where it will unlock. Now for the interior, Harman Kardon for the audio, there's this brushed accent that goes around the release handle. And then you'll notice we have the leather there and a little bit of storage down below with the window control. Now you do have a few different seating options for the all-new 25. This one has the Alcantara with the rest of it being leather. You can just get solid leather seats if you would like. Now on the back seats, or the back of the front seats, you have an area to place tablets. You also have storage nets. There's vents in the middle. You even get heated rear seats, which is really neat. And then you have your temperature adjustments in the middle here to go through all of that. And then there's USB-Cs down below. But I have plenty of space with the front seat set at my height, which is 5'10". And then as far as headroom goes, I have a few inches. It gets a little bit larger with the sunroof here. So if I'm kind of angled to the side, I have a lot more head space. These seats don't recline, so they go back just a little bit here. So it's definitely comfortable for the smaller size that this is. And then in the middle, you have the armrest, 2 cup holders, and you can also fold down this middle seat if you would like to. And then here's a look at visibility. You do have a speaker back there, pretty big pillar, but you have the windows on both sides that will help you, of course. And then as we work our way to the 24-year model, we have a different design with the door handles. They also have the proximity sensor on the door handle itself. So while it's not visible on that 25, you still have the same options. Now we have the interior lighting. There's brushed aluminum, much different design for this door panel, of course. And then taking a look at the back seats, I believe this is the only seat option. I've never seen Alcantara for the previous model here. But as we hop into the back, you have nowhere to place a tablet. You still get the storage nets. You have your climates with your adjustments, auxiliaries down below, no heated seats for this model. And then as far as headroom goes, again, it's probably about the same. It seems like the headliner is just slightly different, but I have a few inches nonetheless. And then in the middle, you have the 2 cup holders, which you have to pop open instead of being exposed. And then you still have the same design to fold down this middle seat. No speaker back there, but you have a much larger window too. So that way it just gives you a little bit better interior lighting there. Now, as we work our way to the interiors for up front, you'll notice that we have all the window controls, side mirror adjustments, memory seating controls, lots of storage, and then we have a very nice set for these seats. Now, like I mentioned, I have full reviews on these vehicles, so I'll go through this fairly quickly today. Where we have the leather steering wheel, this model, it is heated. You have cruise control, and then for the gauge cluster here, you have to use a button on the turn signal stalk to go through information on the right. The rest of it is going to be fixed. So this is the amount of info that you can go through and scroll through, just depending on what you would like to see. This model also has a head-up display, so you can view that. Over on the left side, you get some storage, you get your headlight adjustments, and then you have the infotainment system here where you can go through all of this. So the home screen, you have a few widgets here, and then you can also scroll into all this information, look at your driving information as you would like to. You can get into your settings, so you can configure all of this. You also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that you can get into, and you can use all the shortcuts down below to further get through this. So it gives you a lot. You even have some standard safety features that you can turn on and off. You do get a separate screen for the climate adjustments there, for your temperatures. You get heated seats for this model, and then volume tuning, all of your presets. There's wireless charging down below. You have a different design for this cover here, along with the M badge down below. If we put this into reverse, this model has the 360 camera system. You get automatic parking as well as the backup assistance. So this is nothing new from BMW, but you have that 360 view. You have drive, the manual setting, as well as park, traction control, parking sensors there, and a few different driving modes. So you can go through these as you would like to, which is nice. You have auto hold in the e-brake, a little bit of storage down below with an auxiliary, plenty of storage in the glove box there. You'll notice more of the brushed aluminum accents. You have garage door buttons up top, and then dome lights and the adjustments for both the sunshade and the opening sunroof. And then here's a look at visibility over the right shoulder, and then over the left shoulder, you can easily see out of that window there. So a very nice interior. I know a lot of people do prefer this interior, but as we take a look now at the 25-year model, we have the different design for the door handles there. You'll notice that this is actually an interior light now that surrounds the release handle. It also surrounds the memory seats, lock and unlock, and then you have your controls down below. So it's laid out a little bit different, but we have some nice materials, including the leather and stitching. And then we have the very nice seats. I do like these seats much better than in the 24-year model. So as we start this up now, we get a new steering wheel. So it has the flat bottom design to it, very large paddle shifters on both sides. You have cruise control settings, and then you have all of these shortcuts here where you can go through a lot more in the gauge cluster. So you have all of this content, you have different layouts that you can get into, and then you have the head-up display. So a little bit more user-friendly. You have a lot more tech that you can gain access to. There's also the boost paddle too, so you can get a little bit more power. Now you do lose that compartment over on this side. You have one control for the vent there. The headlight controls have been pushed to the stock over here. And then as we look at the infotainment system, it's very similar to a lot of the newer BMW models where you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can scroll through all of these icons as you would like to. You have your climate adjustments. You can get into your navigation as well as your music, and then even get into your heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. And then you have your temperature dials. So it's laid out just a little different. We have more interior lighting here along with some vent controls. You have storage down below with cup holders, and then a similar design with these shortcuts. However, it's finished off in crystal for this model, but they have the same functions there. And then if we put this into reverse, we have that same 360 camera system with a lot of the same tech features there. You have drive and sport. There's no park button now. Just push on the e-brake and that will put it into park. You have auto hold. You do get some more driving modes too, which is nice. So you can go through these three. It's actually going to change all of the interior coloring too. You have shortcuts to your camera there, volume and tuning, about the same amount of storage. And then in the glove box, we have a similar amount there. And then you still have the garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and then only the adjustment for the sunshade. As I mentioned earlier, the glass is fixed. And then I would say that headrest is in a different design, or it's a little bit differently shaped than in the 24-year model. So it's just a little bit different over that side as far as your overall visibility goes. But there's a look at the exterior and interiors for the 25-year model and the 24-year model. Let's get both of these out on the road and see how they drive. So let's start off behind the wheel now for the M40i. Now, like I said, I have full reviews of both of these vehicles. So if you want to see more driving impressions, you can take a look at those full videos. Today is going to be a shorter test drive, but just to show you the main differences. Now with the 24-year model, I will say from previous comments so far, comparing the 24 and the 25-year model, we do have nicer materials in this model. So it's interesting to see that BMW has some different materials that they've used for the 25-year model. I do like all the brushed accents here. It just has a really nice feel to it. And of course, some of those are going to be options. So it just depends on how you spec your vehicle and what you plan on the trim accents being. But in general, the 25 doesn't have quite as many materials. Now you could argue, you know, this is all plastic here for this tray versus what you will see in the 25-year model. But aside from that, it's a really nice model. It drives great. We have all the driving modes, of course, so you can set this up. RPMs will jump a little higher with it in sport mode here. And then we do have the paddle shifters as well. It sounds good. Paddles are very responsive as well. So it's definitely a fun vehicle to drive. This is something that is one step below basically the competition model. So if you're not looking to go quite that hardcore for a family SUV, the M40 is a great option. And from what I've seen so far, the competition is no longer available for the 25-year model. So the M50 is the top trim level for the 25-year model. But this is a nice vehicle. It drives very nice from being out on the roads. It's very smooth and comfortable. And with its smaller size, it definitely gives you a more maneuverable SUV. So you still get a practical amount of space in a compact-ish size SUV. And it handles well too, as it should with the M package here. But let's go ahead and hop into the all-new model. Behind the wheel of the 25-year model now, as I just said in the 24 about the materials, I mean, we do have some nice leather up on the dash here. We have maybe a little bit of plastic here. We have plastic here on these panels. But overall, the more that I've been behind the wheel of the 25-year model, it's starting to grow on me just a little bit. This is the third or fourth one that I've driven so far, just to be able to make all these comparisons and really see what the cars have to offer. I like these massive paddle shifters because it makes you feel like you're in the competition model versus the 24 that just has the smaller ones there. We can put it into the sport mode here. And it sounds just as good, but of course we do have more power. So you are going to feel that slightly. And the downshifts in sport mode, especially by itself, are pretty crisp and responsive. So as far as the drive goes with transmission, same transmission, they're going to drive and feel very similar, even with the handling as well. Honestly, now that I've driven both of them here today, I kind of like the 25-year model. Comment down below. I've seen a lot of comments not liking the 25 as much as the 24, but we have the same Harman Kardon audio there. I don't know if wireless charging is an option. It's definitely not in this particular model here. I haven't seen that yet. We have a nice trim accent here. Some of the ambient lighting could be a little bit overboard, you could say, but it's going to drive very nice. And again, I have full detailed reviews, so I have a lot more driving impressions with this model. We have the flat bottom design, which I like a lot more than the previous model. I don't know. The sunroof doesn't open, which has been a huge comment that I've seen throughout the content I've posted. To me, I'm not really a sunroof person, so honestly the sunshade would be closed all the time, but I could see the argument with, going away from the sunroof. But honestly, I mean, they're both very, very similar as far as how they're driving, the amount of space that you get. So back from our test drive now between the M40i and the M50. Honestly, after driving them again, I kind of am leaning towards the M50. I like the new steering wheel. I like the new technology features available. I like the overall exterior styling. To me, it looks like a mini version of the XM, which I'm a huge fan of that overall design. But I can see the argument with going with the 24-year model. Honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. Comment down below if you own one of the previous models. Are you planning to upgrade to go to the 2025 model year? I mean, they're both very nice. I just like this overall shape and design for the 24 over this, or the 25 over the 24 here. But out on the road, they're going to drive nearly identical, but we get more power out of that 25 model year. So it's nice to see that upgrade in horsepower and torque, just to give you a little bit more. We have more functional paddles, I think, just with the overall size of them too. But comment down below, let me know which one are you going with. This has been a highly commented video to test out the M50 and the M40. So let me know, now that you've seen this video, which one you would go with and why. Give this video a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.